I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
But to kick this one off, I know, Nick, I feel like last time I missed this episode with Pat, the two last year. But right away afterwards, you guys were a bit miffed at how he stumped you on a few trivia questions. And obviously I listened to Pat on the BBC football podcast they have there. So I can understand that. You definitely have a knack for trivia. So Nick, I know you're excited to see if we can kick this off with a little bit of trivia for Pat instead.
Yeah, we'll see if the pupils can stump Professor Pat here. So I listened back to our last two episodes and would encourage everybody to go listen to those because Pat was brilliant on our show. But he was bringing up trivia questions throughout the entire, what seemed like 5.5 hours of the show. And so I went digging around the Premier League website last night, Pat, and brought up some questions that I think might be relatively challenging even for a man of your knowledge. So the last time that we were on the pod, we talked through balls, and you brought up that David Luiz and Jorginho were kind of by a country mile taking the lead in the Premier League for through balls last year. So I went and looked just specifically at Chelsea this year, who leads the team in through balls and who is second in the team in through balls.
Right, so I've not checked this, so I can only go by what I've seen. Right, so I don't think Jorginho's doing any different. So he's got to be one of the two. I'm guessing that, right? So I suspect Jorginho's one of the two. The other one's a toughie. It's a real tough one because, through ball can be lots of different things. To be honest, there are some certain types of cross ball you get from the likes of Reece James, which could be considered through balls as well. But I'm going to go, the two I'm going to go for is Mount and Jorginho, and I'm going to go Jorginho first.
So you got the first. You got the first. It is Jorginho still at top, and he's top by a country mile for Chelsea with 16 through balls. The second might be a bit of a surprise, though, and this is why I brought it up to stump you. Matteo Kovacic with 9 is second on the team.
That's a good call. Actually, that's a really good call. He's been getting better and better, all season, up until, it was a period there, I think quite a few Chelsea fans were thinking, he was our best player for a good little period of time there. And we've just beginning to see the best of him. It's taken him a while to bed in. But I was a big fan last year as well, maybe more than anywhere. So it was great to see him doing it. And he's just a quality player. And he just looks forward all the time, doesn't he? Just wants to look forward all the time. His first movement, lots of players, their first movement is to stop, look, think. His is turn, move, and go. It makes such a difference that when he does that. And he's got his head up, so... good to hear. What's the numbers then? So Jorginho, did you say he was on 16?
16, and Matteo Kovacic with 9.
9, yeah.
So
not bad.
Yeah, not bad. But I think to your point, when the Bayern Munich match happened in March, which was awful for a lot of reasons, Matteo was the only guy who looked like he could hang for a large period of that game. And I think when he received the ball, he definitely cut through a really good defense. So that was, I think, a little bit of a stumper for you, Pat. So we'll go on.
I've got 50% there. I'm actually
50.
I'm all right with that.
The next one, we'll go to an area of your specialty, which should be shots on target for Chelsea this season. And we know that finishing those shots on target has been a bit of a problem throughout the year. But who are the top 3 Chelsea players in shots on target this season in the Premier League?
Right. Okay. Well, it must be a given. It must be Tammy. Must be one of the 3, right? So it's got to be a given because centre forward, that's going to happen. He's going to have quite a few goals. After that, my first thing I'm thinking Pedro, but Pedro hasn't played enough games because Pedro always shoots. So if Pedro plays enough games, it'll be Pedro. But he's not played enough. I don't know if he's played enough games. Neither has Giroud. If you're midfielders. Willian definitely. He shoots, right? So Willian, I've got him. I'm thinking. After that, it's tough. Oh wow, that's a toughie. Could it be Ross? Could it be Mason? Yeah. Don't think it's going to be Jorginho. Still don't think it's going to be Kovacic. I still don't know. Even what you're saying there, I still don't think it's going to be Matteo. Nah, it's got to be. I'm going to go Mason then. Mason. So what have I got? I've got Mason, Tammy, William. Mason, Tammy. I don't know. Do you need the order? I don't know. That
No.
Yeah, the order. So you got this was the trick question on purpose. So the order is Tammy 1, Mason 2, William and Christian Pulisic tied at 3.
Oh, I would never have got Christian. I'd never have got, even though I think he's brilliant. I just didn't think he played enough games.
Yeah, well, it's shocking that he's tied with William after so much less game time. I think that's what when I was looking through the stats, I was like, how is that possible? It seems like he's played about half the games.
I mean, the great thing about Christian is, you know, the little bits that we've seen, obviously, our American audience knows plenty about him. He's such a hyperstar in America. I talked to my friend, I'm sure some of you know Heather O'Reilly, a great friend of mine, and she tells me how important a player he is, you know, going forward, and how sort of well liked he even was before his time he came to Chelsea. But the bits that I've seen of him, how he can grow, where he can go from, he's incredible. So had he been fully fit and playing the entire season, I think a lot of people would have been talking about him a lot more. So yeah, it's good that he's in there. I wouldn't have guessed him. I have to say, he wasn't even in my top 7 or 8, even though I think he's top quality as a player.
Indeed. So I stumped you twice, and then I'm going to throw a real curveball at you here because I was digging through the site and I could not believe this one, which is the Premier League lists only one Chelsea player as having. They've identified only one Chelsea player as having made an error leading to a goal, and he's done it twice this year. Who is this player?
Well, you immediately start thinking of. You see, I'm telling you how my brain works. I'm showing my working.
You are. You're getting credit for the homework for sure.
So you would think it'd be a centre back or a keeper, but I can't remember Kepa doing. You know, they wouldn't credit him. That's just a mistake. There's been the odd error, but Tony Rudiger. Can't remember any clear ones. No, Christensen got a position, but he's not been. No, it's not like that.
I always try to think back. Who's the player laying on their back, face up on the pitch, just going, "Oh no!" That's the reaction, and I couldn't think of it either.
I'm guessing it might be Kurt Zuma. It could be him. There's something else though. There's 2 players that are jumping in my mind here. There's 2 players. I have to tell you, there's 2 players, and I'm embarrassed by it. I love Jorginho, as you know, and I also love N'Golo Kante. But I've got somewhere in the back of my mind, I've got both of them going. If you're saying it's not Jorginho, is it? It's not. You're not playing a trick on me. It's Jorginho because somewhere I can't tell a game. My mind's at both of them doing that.
It's unbelievable, Pat. Your sixth sense you have, Nick. What is going on?
It is. You were so close, Pat. It's N'Golo Kante.
Oh,
they've credited him twice, and one you can remember is the Arsenal where he was like last man and he slipped
on the counterattack.
Right. And I don't.
That's the one. I commit because we're all shocked. We went. Well, he slipped.
Yeah,
we were doing the commentary for it. That's what was lodged in there.
Yep.
Oh, right. That's a great. By the way, what a good question.
Yeah, I was digging through the stats last night, and I was like, if you would have asked me all 3 of those, I think I would have went over 3.
But they are. They're not easy, but you kind of work them out. I always get these sort of ones that are. You don't jump into the first answer, then you take away the ones that are impossible. There's a classic one. Leave even ones that are unlikely. If the rest are not possible, then you're left with that. But they're great questions, man. Yeah, I love them. They're brilliant. I'm impressed.
Awesome. There we go. I had to fire back a little bit this time because you got us so good last time.
Settled the score. He feels really good now.
Yeah, I know. And Nick came in with an agenda for sure. But anyways, I'd be surprised if any of our listeners are able to pull some of those out. Truthfully, of course, obviously.